I'm ready to make a change.
I want to make more money.
I want to get healthy.
I want to start a business.
I want to spend more time with my family.
Welcome to day 2. Yesterday we talked about the importance of creating breakthroughs and the importance of getting out of your comfort zone. And we said that's important for 4 reasons. First of all, it's important if you want to experience happiness. Second, it's important if you want to grow as a person. Third, it's important if you want to conquer your fear. And fourth, it's important if you want to inspire others. But today we want to turn a corner and talk about the importance of dealing with the past. And I want to give you a process for completing the past so that you're not dragging it into the future. It's a little bit like the conversation between Rudy and the janitor.
Hey. What you doing here? Don't you have practice?
Not anymore, I quit.
Oh. Well, since when are you the quitting kind?
I don't know, I just don't see the point anymore.
So you didn't make the dress list. There are greater tragedies in the world.
I wanted to run out of that tunnel for my dad. To prove to everyone that I worked...
what?
That I was somebody.
Oh, you are so full of crap. You're 5 feet nothing. 100 and nothing. And you got hardly a speck of athletic ability. And you hung in with the best college football team in the land for 2 years. And you're also gonna walk out of here with a degree from the University of Notre Dame. In this lifetime, you don't have to prove nothing to nobody except yourself. And after what you've gone through, if you haven't done that by now, it ain't gonna never happen. Now go on back.
I'm sorry I never got you to see your first game in here.
I've seen too many games in this stadium.
I thought you said you never saw a game.
I've never seen a game from the stands.
You were a player?
I rode the bench for 2 years. Thought I wasn't being played because of my color. I got filled up with a lot of attitude. So I quit. Still not a week goes by, I don't regret it. And I guarantee a week won't go by in your life you won't regret walking out, letting them get the best of you. You hear me clear enough?
You and I both know people like the janitor who lives with a lot of regrets, kind of stuck in the realm of coulda, woulda, shoulda, where you wish things could have been different, wished you had taken different actions, and that can really get you hung up and stuck and keep you from making forward momentum into the future. And I don't want that to happen to you. Not if you're going to have your best year ever. You've got to do business with the past. You've got to put it to rest. You've got to complete it. Now, the U.S. Army has a process that they go through that they call the after-action review, and it consists of 3 elements, and it's really a good process for you and I to use as we deal with last year and as we get complete with last year. Element number 1 is to acknowledge what happened. We can't ignore it. We can't pretend it didn't happen. We can't gloss over it. We've got to acknowledge it. If there was a breakdown, if there was a failure, then we just got to acknowledge it and be honest with it. Element number 2 is we got to learn from the experience. Several years ago, I went through a horrendous business failure. It was 1991. I had a business that I loved, and the business grew too fast, and the business failed. In fact, we were so broke that we couldn't even declare bankruptcy because all of our assets were pledged. But it was humiliating. It was embarrassing. It was one of those experiences that I would never want to relive, but that I also would never trade because I learned so much that has served me well in the years since that experience. So we've got to be able to learn from the experience. Then the third element in processing our past and making sure that we complete it is to adjust our behavior accordingly. If nothing ever changes, if all you do is acknowledge it, and if all you do is learn from the experience, but you don't really adjust your behavior, you really haven't learned from it. And you're going to be dragging the past right into the future. I don't want that to happen to you, And that's why you've got to go through these 3 elements if you're going to complete the past. So let's move now to the action plan. And for this session, this is the most important part. And I want to ask you to ask yourself a series of 7 questions and to answer those in your study guide. So pen out, study guide at the ready, let's go. Question number 1, if the last year were a movie of your life, what would the genre be? Drama, romance, adventure, comedy, tragedy, or both? Here's some possible examples. One of my friends who lost a son simply said tragedy. Another who got engaged and married said romance. Another one of my friends said he experienced a great misfortune, one after another, and said comedy. In fact, it was slapstick. So that's the first question. Second question, what were the 2 or 3 major themes that kept recurring? Now, these can be single words or phrases. For me this last year, it was deeply moving times with family and friends. Another theme, making difficult decisions in the face of the economic crisis. Or another one, learning to get along with less and enjoying it more. Third question, what did you accomplish this past year that you were the most proud of? These could be any kinds of things, like running a half marathon, which is something I did a couple of years ago, or cutting your company's expenses in order to meet the challenges of the economy, or having a book hit the bestseller list. It could be anything that you were the most proud of. Fourth question, what did you feel that you should have been acknowledged for but weren't? You know, these are the things that we wish the boss would have noticed or our spouse would have noticed, but they just weren't. Things like, for example, working 2 jobs as a single mom in order to feed your family, or never giving up on your marriage, not giving up on your marriage when it would have been frankly easier to quit, or making time to work out even when you wanted to sleep in. Fifth question, what disappointments or regrets did you experience this past year? You know, we naturally have high expectations of ourselves, and there were probably things that we had hoped would happen, but they just didn't happen. And it's okay to acknowledge those and to list those out. In fact, it's important in the process of completing them. Number 6, what was missing from this last year as you look back? Again, look at the major areas of your life. For example, more time spent on strategic planning, or more time spent with your spouse, or more time spent with your kids, or more books that you wished you could have read. These are the things that are missing. Go ahead and write those down. Number 7, what were the major life lessons that you learned this past year? Try to distill them into short, pithy statements. For example, here's one that I had from a couple of years ago. There comes a point in every experience when I'm too far in to quit, but almost certain I can't finish. If I keep moving forward, I'll eventually get to the other side. That was a life lesson, an important one that's still serving me to this day. Or here's another one. Don't overthink the outcome, just do the next right thing. The important thing is to complete the past, to work through these exercises, to process it, not only intellectually, but also emotionally. When you do this, you clear up the past so you don't get stuck in it, so that you can move on to the future. That's really all we have for day 2. Day 3, we're going to move into this important area of setting smart goals. See you then.
I'm ready to make a change.
I want to make more money.
I want to get healthy.
I want to start a business.
I want to spend more time with my family.